My message to the losers: losers, look in the mirror. No? Well, maybe you should. Sorry. Well, that's my feeling.
I want to talk about Whoopi Goldberg because I got so many texts this week because she attacked me the week before.
Sure.
So everybody was like, oh, Bill, I get you're enjoying the karma.
Stop saying that Whoopi Goldberg getting yanked from The View right after she attacked me on The View is karma. There's no such thing as karma. Sorry. Sorry, but life is random. The only word to describe it when a big game hunter gets trampled by an elephant and then eaten by lions is hilarious. And black people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them.
Well, if he's right, then why didn't people vote for the former prosecutor who actually had policy plans to help the working class?
Have been challenging The View since they began pushing their narratives, and one critic hasn't stopped exposing them to this day. In his latest show, Bill Maher dropped a bombshell that left them furious. Maher isn't afraid to speak his mind and stand by his beliefs, just like The View hosts. The difference? Some people need to take a hard look in the mirror.
The whole show, the winners, the losers. My message to the losers: losers, look in the mirror. No? Well, maybe you should. Sorry. Well, that's my feeling. Losers, look in the mirror, okay? You know, I mean, for months, Democrats have been saying, how is this even close? And they're right. It wasn't. They could not conceive of a second Trump term, but they should have. When does America ever turn down second?
View hosts were visibly uncomfortable in their seats. That's when they started digging for dirt on Bill Maher. However, none of their attacks landed. Instead, Maher pushed back even harder with his signature sharp humor. Just watch how he responded when The View questioned how Trump would accomplish his promises given the millions of immigrants.
Now they have reality they have to deal with. You know, we'll see what they do. See if they live up to their word. Trump says he's going to deport 12 million people. How are you going to get 12 million people back into Mexico? And today Trump said, I'm way ahead of you. Why do you think I left so many holes in the wall?
Now they have to deal with reality. We'll see what they do and whether they live up to their word, Maher remarked. The View questioned Trump's promise to deport 12 million people, asking, how do you plan to send that many people back to Mexico? Maher quipped, Trump's way ahead of you. Why do you think I left so many holes in the wall? The overwhelmingly conservative audience appreciated Maher's optimism and firm stance on his beliefs. Frustrated with the Democrats, he took direct shots at other late-night hosts, mocking them for claiming they would leave the country, only to find them Mexico. Maher also highlighted a major issue where The View and other left-leaning media outlets have gone astray.
Kamala was on Saturday Night Live, as the losing candidate often is. It worked so well for Hillary. Let's run that back. And it just made me think, I'm sure every single member of the Saturday Night Live cast was a Harris supporter. But what if one of them wasn't? What if one of those cast members was for Trump? Would they have felt comfortable saying so? I really don't think so. They would have had to keep it to themselves. That's not a good place for us to be. I remember when, and that happens even more on the left. And I remember when Elon Musk hosted, and this is well before he was a Trumper. This is 3 or 4 years. He was just the richest man in the world. And a number of the cast members on Saturday Night Live, they didn't want to deal with him. They didn't exactly boycott, but they made it plain. And I was thinking, really? You have Elon Musk on your show for a week. You could talk to one of the most interesting, brilliant people the world has ever produced, even about this issue that bothers you so much, that he's so rich and lots of people aren't. But no, you don't want to even deal with him. That's what I hate about the left. You're brats and you're snobs. And
yeah, that's the propaganda they pushed. And if you need proof, just look at how all the co-hosts of The View went silent after Bill Maher shared his opinion live on air. Keep in mind, it was Sunny who initially brought up the issue, but the way Maher turned the argument back on her left everyone stunned. The moment was so shocking that not a single co-host dared to respond.
Ira Glasser, former longtime head of the ACLU, talking about free speech. Whoopi Goldberg, who, by the way, I hope is still a friend. We can disagree with each other. should not be canceled or put off her show, as much as I totally disagree with her crazy statement. Free speech. She should be there. She shouldn't get a timeout.
Not every single thing has to be for everybody.
Right.
We can have platforms that have stuff on them that not everyone on that platform or who consumes stuff on that platform enjoys. And The View is a particularly weird place to do a cancellation.
It's called The View?
It's called The View. It's not called The Facts.
Yeah, but
It's
isn't it interesting that it's called, I mean, I don't think they meant this when Barbara Walters invented it a long time ago, but it's The View.
Well,
that's the problem in America.
But
There is
clearly,
one view,
right, and
one
that's clearly
true opinion, and everybody else can go sit in the corner.
Look at Whoopi and Joy. They were completely stunned, like they couldn't believe what they were hearing. What they're missing is that Bill Maher is making a valid point. This isn't about left or right, it's about the right way to stop war. If you listen closely, Maher highlights how their administration is responsible for escalating the issue instead of working toward peace. Yet, they're quick to criticize Trump when he pushes for diplomacy.
The answer is not to make them sit in a corner for 2 weeks. That is insulting. It's so insulting to make a 65-year-old, I mean, the person at ABC News said, I've asked her to take time to reflect and learn about the impact of her comments. Reflect. How insulting for someone of her age, who's a sophisticated person, and the impact of her comment. There is no impact. There aren't neo-Nazis waiting for the green light from a lady on The View to go out and do a new crystal knot.
Yeah, no, that's so right. And the whole point of free speech is we don't need free speech when we're right, when everyone agrees with us. We need free speech when we're wrong. We need free speech to make mistakes. We need free speech to say really unpopular things. And one of the reasons I'm always proud to come on this show, and I suspect you feel the same way, Catherine, is this is the only space left on television where people can speak freely and not be terrified, right? And
They took the wrong stance. They should have been the ones sitting in the corner. This is a hard truth for the left to accept because, for them, the only acceptable opinion is their own, which they push through their biased shows. People have different perspectives, and healthy debate is one thing, but on The View, that's simply not tolerated. Bill Maher called out an issue where Whoopi was wrong, but unlike them, he never suggested she should be silenced or sidelined.
The point is they didn't vote for him because of racism and misogyny. They voted for him because they felt like, I think the biggest common denominator in this election is people want a good life and ability to provide for their family.
Well,
and whether we agree or not with Donald Trump's plans,
Black people
they thought that he was reflective.
One of the poorest demographics in this country, but they voted for Kamala Harris.
But there was a split, and more of them voted for Donald Trump than had historically. I think that there's such a desire. If you really think the vast majority of this country voted because of racism and misogyny, you're missing it. Most of my family, a lot of my family doesn't have college degrees.
But the stats are the stats.
But that's not, it doesn't say I voted for Donald Trump because of racism. That's not, let me get that. What stat are you talking about?
You can't dissect the two.
Yes, you can.
Have you ever seen anything like this happen? If you know, never. And chances are, your grandchildren will never witness a moment like this either. Just take a look at The View treats anyone who dares to express even the slightest opinion that doesn't align with their narrative. Dissent isn't debated, it's shut down.
Now they have reality they have to deal with. We'll see what they do. See if they live up to their word. Trump says he's going to deport 12 million people. How are you going to get 12 million people back into Mexico? And today Trump said, I'm way ahead of you. Why do you think I left so many holes in the wall?
Big interruption is happening again, but have you noticed that you can't even acknowledge a valid point if it comes from a different perspective? For those who don't know, this was originally brought up by Bill Maher.